hang out with them, but I've always preferred what Dota offers, which is like an opportunity to just deep dive and get better and analyze things. That's my mindset sort of thing. So I'm looking forward to this.
Cool. So, and
Yeah, but
what?
knowledgeable into it, watch the general, the
Okay.
general videos, I guess. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What kind of content creators have you seen? Like BSJ, Purge,
Uh,
Pain.
yeah, the ones that I kind of like has been a little bit of Kezu lately because I'm in off lane.
Mm-hmm.
BSJ's a standard. However you say his name, Zed in Canada. Well, I don't know where you are, but it would be Zed Quixotics.
Mm-hmm.
Quixotics. Yeah, that guy
Oh,
doing a lot of support.
ZQotics. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He does
Mm-hmm.
some quality stuff, I think. So,
Yeah, he's definitely pretty good. I think
um,
he even made it to a TI, on the
yeah.
panel and stuff like that. So he's definitely making some big waves. So I'm very proud of him. He's doing pretty good for NA.
Yeah, I've been following him for a while, and it's like cool that he just started with a few little ones, and it's just such high quality and insightful that it's cool he's getting recognized for it.
Yeah, very very awesome to see. And what do you
And
prefer to go by?
oh, whatever you want. In uh, my handle's been I don't stick to anything. So Booty Dangler was one from a long time ago, but lately we had all ourselves named after fictional office there for a while. So in some of the games it'll be Kevin and but I go Dave. Most people call me Dave now. Dave from sales
Okay, cool,
or
Dave.
Booty or Booty, but I don't really care.
I'll go with
Adam is
Dave.
Adam is my actual name. So whatever you whatever you want.
All right, cool. So just to set the expectation, I'm recording this session, so I can either send you the VOD later if you prefer, or I can just send you. So I will also just send you like a summary, some notes like afterwards as well. So whatever you prefer, so you can just kind of focus 100% on what we're talking about, and still have some like stuff to look at later.
Yeah, you
So,
bet. That sounds awesome.
so to start, I like to use a specific structure for my sessions where we actually gain MMR rather than just talking aimlessly. So first, the framework I use the GROW model. I know you say you're a teacher, so I'm not sure if that's something that you're familiar with, but it just starts with, as an acronym, starting with a clear goal, looking at the reality of your gameplay, exploring your options, and finishing with the will. So GROW. So specifically, what you're going to do differently in your next pub is the will. So secondly, we'll look at the game. We won't just look at your random mistakes. We're going to use a what you like to call a three-act structure. Act 1 is going to be the setup, the draft and laning. Act 2 is going to be the confrontation, the mid-game movements and objective taking. And Act 3 is the resolution and high ground sieging and closing out the game. So that stops us from getting overwhelmed. We'll identify exactly which act is causing you to lose your games. So
Yeah, nice.
before we move forward a little bit, what is the problem that you see in your games right now? So I think you
Uh,
put on your form, I believe it was a green, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Yeah, you put green, you feel slow. Well, let me read it all here. One moment.
yeah, I'd say that watching other games and being familiar at least with the intent of them that I th- and I'm open to your interpretation. Like I can't wait to hear what you think of what it is that is holding me back because I mean, I might be totally out to lunch, but I think the lane is pretty obvious and I can always work on last hitting, and
Mm-hmm.
improving those little things for sure,
Mm-hmm.
the technical parts, but it's the mid game where if I ever go back and I'm kind of loosely tracking it and following it, like going after the game and looking at my farm as far as it ranks, and in a good game, I'll often do okay, be up near sort of net worth, doing reasonably at the top few, and then I usually plateau as I kind of feel like torn between jumping in with the team, which inevitably at the low levels always wants to go push their off lane and going in there, um, or staying up and pressuring their tower. And so I kind of just end up running around putting out fires, as it feels like.
Okay.
And then you just watch my sort of net worth plateau, and then not really that I feel like that's what it is. Not making good decisions in the mid game, but and also lack of farming efficiency. Like I kind of I've been trying to make myself like farm, 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 but I sometimes lose that as I like, oh my god, I got to help here and I got to do this and I got to initiate that. And so I
Sure.
think that's my take on it, but I'm eager to hear you.
Okay. So, with that in mind, I do want to let's just hit the G and grow. Which, what with that being said, what's going to be your main goal for this session? Like, if you had just put it in one sentence, you want to be able to understand mid game movements a little bit better, or when you have a, do you feel like you're behind during these times, or you're ahead, you're trying to close out the game, or just mid game in general, you feel lost?
Yeah, I would put it at that. I would put it at that. I mean, but preemptively, it's kind of what you said. I think maybe out of this session, I'd like to understand what my actual focus should be, like my true weakness. That's just my interpretation of it, but I don't have I'm aware of my own shortcomings and knowledge of the the macro picture. I think it's the macro picture of Dota. Like I think I know what I want to do,
Yeah, map
but
macro map movements basically. And you're trying to understand.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, sure. I'm happy to go over that, and let's just jump right into it here. We'll try to spend maybe 30 minutes on the replay, and then if you want to try to do a live game, we can, or we can just kind of talk over some stuff. Um, we'll see how long we can spend on this replay. Try not to spend too long, because there's, if we wanted to, we could spend like 2 hours just discussing one replay.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, I'm whatever you prefer. I'm down with.
okay,
But yeah,
so
I think that's it. I think to understand what I should make my focus is probably step one of growing, and then once that's, then I can look at it further.
yeah,
If
definitely.
that's yeah.
Let's see how what happened here with the first blood.
And I did notice, and I think typically in this game I usually last hit a lot better. I did miss a bunch. I think I normally have a quelling blade and little things like that. It was a poor performance, but still overall it needs to improve. That's just obvious.
Yeah, so I think like just like you said, obviously you just want to be intentful from minute zero. From like the minute that you're loading into the game, you want to have your cell phone away. You're not checking social media or text or anything like that. You're just locked in onto like what you need to do. Especially if you're playing ranked, you're playing like unranked or like turbos, like whatever. But like, you're playing ranked, you're trying to actually win. So like number one is, I don't really think you need to be here on this rune. I think you should just be with your team here for like, the first blood. Right. I think for like the offlane, this is like never your bounty to secure. If anything, you'll be like up here, closer to your lane.
Yeah.
But I'll touch back on that in just a minute. So like just before that, even the draft check. So like you see lanes, you have I'm thinking it's what,
Yeah, drow mids.
Drow mid, Spectre carry. You have a Lena pos 4 or 5.
Where does Lena end up? Lena is with me. 4.
Yeah, so Lena 4, and you don't know what you're laning against yet, right? You're thinking maybe a Veno.
Yeah. We get some wild ones. I think it was going to be Beastmaster, to be honest, and probably Veno with them. That's what I was thinking at the time. That was my guess. It was
Yeah, hard to really say what you're laning against here.
it
Uh,
could have been the Slardar, maybe the Lycan.
yeah,
I've
so
seen everything.
yeah, so I'm guessing it's the Beastmaster mid, which that's not too rare as common. Um, but I mean, in your bracket, honestly, I think it's kind of rare seeing a Beastmaster mid, unless you're, I mean, micro intensive players there are. But Yeah, I think Starter win the Rangers, so that's a pos 4 like in Veno top. So I'm thinking this is the pos 5. So you're a Mars, Lena. How do you feel in this lane versus a Venos Lycan?
Pretty good. I think the harass Veno's always really hard to deal with a little bit with the slows, but I
Mm.
think having the Lena, it'll probably come out as a bit of a wash.
Yeah, I
I
think
think I
you're.
think gonna take a lot of poison over time and be slow is typically how it goes. But
Yeah,
the Lycan and me should be able to sort of trade, like I'm not gonna get overwhelmed like against a Sven or something like that. Like,
yeah, I think that's a pretty solid analysis of the situation. I think you as a Mars, you trade pretty good or like not bad versus a Lycan. You kind of have like the spears and your God's Rebuke to kind of deal with the wolves a bit. The Lycan, against melee heroes, you also are not that bad. They have to walk up a tree and spear them to trees. Like you mentioned, the Veno probably is going to be the most annoying, doing some damage over time to you in the lane. But as long as you're buying sustain, you'll be able to kind of just trade and you should be able to get away with farming out in this lane relatively easily. Lena also should be decent against the Veno, depending on how they play, just because Lena has a significantly longer attack range, 670 versus the 450 of the Veno. But of course, you guys just have to be careful of being galed and being chased down.
yeah,
So, like in the game overall, looking at your team, what is your job as Mars in this game?
yeah. This is a good question. That this is an area I need to analyze better. Um, it's a good way to how to phrase it. My job. I mean, typically it's to set up these fights, but that's such a basic answer in a way.
I mean,
A more
you are
sophisticated
right. So
one.
like you are the initiator on your team.
I mean, they got a mobile, some mobility with Lycan and Wind. I think it would be to hold
So
them
I
in
think
place, or at least break them apart with the
mhm.
arena. I don't know. The usual Mars role, split them up and let
Yeah.
my team
So
focus somebody down.
if I give you a couple options, would you say that you're the initiator, the tower hitter, or the backline jumper in this
Yeah,
specific
okay.
game?
If that's the case, then the initiator.
Yeah. So I would say you're more of the initiator here. Like your Drow is going to be the tower hitter, and the Spectre is actually going to be the backline jumper with
Backline
the
jumper, yeah.
with with the shadow step. So your only job in this game is that your team has no initiation without you. Like you're the only way you guys survive. Because Lena's light strike array LSA is not reliable, right? It's very easy to miss that. This guy doesn't really have. He has just Will Wonder, also not that reliable at certain fights. So it's gonna be mostly on you to start these fights.
Hey, would you say that those are the categories I should sort of pre-analyze, those three ones you just mentioned? Like,
I,
is that kind of the high level analysis I should be doing?
I mean, I definitely do think that is the categories that you're gonna fall into, and most of the time being off lane, most of the time you're going to be the initiator. But let's say you're playing something like a Slaughter, maybe it is your job to be the back line. Like so, like on their team, for example, the Beastmaster, he's not really the back line. He's more of the initiation with the roar. The Slardar is
Yeah.
more of a jumping your support, jumping your back line, trying to kill people. You know, and then like the Lycan and the Beastmaster kind of is the tower hitters. Like they kind of have zoos. The creeps, the boars, the wolves, the wards. So like those are kind of like they all kind of split the tower hitting role. But that is something you do want to think about. Every game is kind of what is everyone's job on your team, because that also is going to dictate the item builds because you're gonna build items that fill up the gaps or the weaknesses in your lineup. So, for
Right.
example, if you guys didn't have like stuns or like initiation, then maybe you need to build Atos, Glyphner, Scythe, those type of items.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think overall that's like, and again, it's all relative, but in my gameplay, if I was to rank it like item changing, I I feel like I'm okay at identifying those things, and I might make the typical mistakes, but at least I feel like I think about it and fill in gaps and try to look at other people's items now and again and do that. Like I said, it's more the bigger picture stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah. Just so you
um,
get to know kind of what my own analysis of myself.
yeah, this sounds good. And so, identifying the threats. Who on the enemy team kills you, and who do you kill?
I kill the Wind Ranger, the Veno decently. He's tankier than you always think.
Yeah.
The who those are gonna be the two. They're the squishiest, so
Hmm.
they do it. But even the lichen, like I mean, ultimately I don't kill too many. I gotta set up the drow, and the
Hmm.
spec are gonna do the damage for me. So I think I have a good chance of setting them up for lichen because he'll be cocky and thinking he can run away. Um, and then who kills me? The Slardar probably beats me up pretty bad. And I think if I get caught in the roar is gonna give me the worst time.
Yeah, getting caught by roar. I think if you get like gelled, you definitely
Yeah.
can get kited to death as
Yeah.
well. So I think like on the enemy team who you kill, I think those are reasonable answers as far as the supports. Definitely being able to like just get them out of the fight is definitely the a big advantage that you do want to go for whenever you can. Sometimes that opportunity is not always given depending on how good these supports are, and sometimes it will just be whoever you can kind of catch. So like sometimes just
Yeah.
catching a two-man arena is just a good enough use of it to just go for it, and that way your team, and of course, you want to make sure your team is always ready. That's always the biggest thing. But moving
Yeah.
forward, so based on the heroes you see and your item build, what do you think about your items that you have here, or explain them to me?
Yeah, we're gonna get a lot of harass, so I came out like I said, the Veno's gonna cause me problems, so I'm trying to get my bracer quick to get a little bit of regen, but also sometimes I hold off on the tango for the first wave, get it out later, but I think I'm gonna be gobbling them up right away. So working towards that, and the slow is so bad. I don't know. I never know if I'm gonna work towards boots and try to run away, but I feel like probably not. Just gotta avoid it.
Mhm. Yeah, I do think. Well, I would suggest. I think the blood grenade, maybe not necessary on Mars. You're really like a relatively tanky hero where the 50 health isn't that useful, and I know it's kind of like you're using it, I guess, as like a setup, or like
No,
what's.
you know what it was? You know what it is? Often no one buys one, and in those fights, it often makes a difference at the rune. So I'll be the sacrificial person that'll buy it. And I think I played that first bounty rune kind of poorly. You're right. I should. What you said earlier is I'm gonna worry less about that nobody was getting it and just leave it to chance and be my job to be mixing it up. And
Go get
usually I
first
just
blood.
would,
Yeah.
yeah, first blood
Yeah.
ability.
Mhm.
If no one else does it, it's worked out a good number of times that it's worth the gamble.
Yeah. So like my only suggestion would be like if you have it for that purpose, I think that's like fine. Otherwise you can just get two branches. You just fill up on the max stats here.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's like I think there's only two builds people really go on Mars. Is like you're either gonna go this max stat build, or you're gonna go max stats but in a different way where you get wand immediately and then you get three branches. And that's the other way that you get as many stats as you can versus lanes where you anticipate more spell casting. So like in this lane, they're really not going to be casting a lot of spells, especially early. Gale
Yeah.
costs a lot of mana. Maybe he gets three. Lycan doesn't even have a spell to cast level one. So I think like stats is definitely as good. How you start this lane. Other lanes you definitely want to consider the wand. Just if they do have spells that they do
Yeah.
use. Camera back on you. So let's see how you played lane. So like
We're about.
basic laning mechanics, right? Just you want to keep the lane as much as you can from your tower to be farming over here. You know about the pole camp here, how to utilize this. That was a question.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Most of the stuff we do pretty well. Pulling it if my support doesn't, dragging it back, aggroing creeps. All of those things go okay.
Yeah, just making sure.
Like pulling it, getting back under tower. Yeah, yeah.
I'll fast forward through most of this. I think there definitely is like kill potential there, where he's like that close from your tower. I think you do want to like look to use that blood raid and your spear into the trees.
Yeah, okay.
Because Lena can definitely set up for a kill. He was relatively low for your tower. Those little windows like that.
Whereabouts are you? What time?
Oh, are you? Is my screen showing?
Oh shit, no, you know what? Hold on. I was just in game. I didn't
Ah, I'm
notice you were
so
streaming.
sorry. Yeah.
No, 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 I didn't know. That's cool. I was just looking at mine. Good. Got it. That's cool. Look at me, coaching noob.
Okay, so let me go maybe back to what I was talking about then real quick.
Yeah,
Just like,
right here.
yeah, let's like right here. You can definitely just look trying to run at him. He's very far from his towers. Like that is just kind of like the window of when to be aggressive. Is like anytime they're here, you're aggressive. Anytime you're like up here, you're a little bit more passive.
Yeah, okay.
But we'll get through landing phase real quick. I think this is like a lane where you can go like double bracer and just sit on the wave, and it's very hard for them to push you off, which you are doing for the most part. I think, like you said, just like little stuff, last hitting more. It doesn't look like they're harassing you too much. You just want to be getting more of the farm in this lane.
I'll take that.
Okay. Let's see what happened here. So
I'll take that.
I think there's one like not seeing mid missing and then getting ganked.
I mean, there's not always a lot that you can do about
Yeah.
that. So like, I think
Yeah,
here,
he comes right out and Lena's there. And actually it was, you know what it was? I think it was just going back in. We made the play, escaped,
yeah,
but I went back into they even wow, he got a nice rotation. But then
yeah, I did.
went back in,
Yeah, you
trying to
barely ran
trying
out
to
of
do too
mana.
much for people.
Yeah. So just discipline there. Very easy fix. So I
So I
think,
think here's the first decision that I would be faced at, and I run into a fair bit. It's 8-1. Mids, like somewhere it's falling apart. And how do I counter that level of it? And it's like they're 5K up and it's just getting going.
okay.
So, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. So there
is
are
there some
some.
way would you think about it or just, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'll be quiet. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand what you were saying. So I do want to touch on a few things before I forget. Number one is the item build is is very little, but I think it's important to where like you have like this soul ring and like these unfinished boots where I think having phase boots is just way more beneficial. I think they just like a very common build on Mars right now is double bracer phase boots because it gives you a
Okay.
lot of stats and you're just very hard to get on top of when you have phase boots as well. I think like getting the soul ring early like it feels nice, but it feels better if you just have maybe a wand and just like use a wand for mana and like had double bracers because you do get like some intelligence for these, right? So it does give you like a tiny bit of mana regen with double bracers, and you'll have a little tiny bit of a more mana pool as well. and then you can
Okay.
get like the soul ring after. So
Yeah. Okay.
very small thing there. Secondarily is the how do you come back being 5k behind. Some of that is going to be like you already know is just the I I call last hitting part of the laning mechanics part of the game. So part of your laning mechanics is just in a lane like this. If your team is losing other lanes, sometimes it's because like a matchup, like Drow versus Beastmaster. Drow's not really a good mid hero, so this is like a lane that you kind of lose. You have like a farming mid, you're kind of losing that lane. Spectre is a weak laner, so you're kind of losing this lane as well. With Spectre versus Slardar, like it's hard for Spectre to like do well in this lane. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the only lane for your team that can kind of like do well or pop off is what lane?
Yeah. My lane.
Your lane, right? So like if your team is gonna be losing these lanes, that means you need to be winning your lane well. And like for you to be winning your lane, that means that you need to not be lowest the last hits. So like I know we don't
Yeah.
want to talk about being not missing farm and like missing last hits stuff like that, but like when you want to talk about how do you turn this game to not be 5k behind to make it more into a winning game, is you need to be abusing the advantages you have in your lane. So like this is a lane where you had an advantage where they really couldn't kill you in the lane. So you should be getting a lot more out of this lane. So that just
Yeah.
needs to
Okay.
be a focus of you need to last hit better. You need to last hit better, use your abilities more, whatever needs to happen to make sure that you're getting the creeps in the lane that needs to be a priority. So that way at 10 minutes you don't have 25. At 10 minutes, with the what you want to aim for is really like 60. But I would say at your level, even just hitting like 50 or like 40 at the worst, bare minimum, is what you want to be at least 40. 25 is just like you're like a support net worth right now, and you're just gonna be much weaker. This guy, look at his items. He has double bracer and his boots are finish. So like similar build that I was telling you to do, double bracer and your face boots. These small items are like a power
Yeah.
spike, you know. So like you're
Yeah.
not able to do anything in the game because like right now you have this build and you have like no arena. You came back to lane. Like your question was like, do you come back to lane here? He's like, there's like nothing you can do now. Like you have no arena. This guy, I think, should have ultimate. I'm not sure if he used it already. I guess it's cooldown, but regardless, it's like this guy. It's very hard for you to be out here because of Venom, and you don't have phase boots. Like once you get Geld, you're like super slow. You're
Yeah.
246.
Yeah.
You know, you're not very
Yeah.
tanky.
Yeah.
So that's just one thing. Is like if you want to be able to do more, you need to leverage more out of your laning phase when you have that option. And this is definitely a game where you have to have that option. You're not versus like a if it was like a Huskar Veno, then like I understand you having 25 last hits.
Yeah. Right.
So like Mars is also a hero that doesn't jungle very effectively.
Radiant's
So your hero Elmars, like you also have to understand your playstyle of your hero is like what how does your hero play the game? So like I think Slardar is kind of similar to Mars in a sense where if Slardar has a very bad lane, the hero doesn't feel very good. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. 100%.
So where like Mars is kind of like you have good laning. You're a much better laner than Slardar because you have spears, you have God's Rebuke, and then you kind of just get to your level 6 timing. And then usually, if you have Arena, all you need is like a +1 to secure a kill. And
Right.
then once you can get a kill, your first objective on the map is trying to get your opponent's tower, your opponent's safe lane tower. And that's if you look at the off lane, and that's what they did. They won their lane and they're trying to push this tower. Especially by like the 10 minutes, you get this catapult, which helps you with this
Yeah.
push. Every
Yeah.
5 minutes, right? Those catapults spawn. So if you can like win around there, you also have this catapult wave coming in, then you can start trying to push this tower. So
bottom tower
that's
is
like
under
the
attack.
the change you want to make happen is that you're alive now. You want to be alive here and have your ultimate, and then try to call maybe like your Lena back up here. Try to
Radiant's
call maybe
bottom
your
tower
Ringmaster up
falling.
here, and like maybe even like Spectre. Say like, hey Spectre, can you get mana for ultimate? And just like wait for me to arena somebody. Like you come up here, you're gonna use arena on this guy, and Spectre ultimates. Lena casts his couple spells, and this guy is dead.
Right. Okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
So I think like all this is like fine. You're coming to defend your tower. Now, like we just talked about, you're setting up this kill, and all that is fine. It's just like having that happen while having the feed.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So I think all that's fine. You use your ultimate. There's not a lot you can do anymore. So like you're just trying to catch this wave. All that is good. And then like as soon as you push this wave out, I think like right now, you just come back and you grab the 14-minute wisdom and you just farm these camps. So like the
Okay.
build that you're going, you're deciding to go blink first, and like this is like when we talked about. I know you said you're comfortable on knowing like what item builds to pivot for and stuff like that, and like what it calls for with your team. So like how this is like I think about how much good setup is on your team. Do you see?
Not a lot.
Okay,
Like good setup.
yeah,
Uh,
not
the
not a lot.
the ringmaster ring, meh. Like
Mm,
I'm the best setup.
you're the best setup. So like even then, you like to have a little bit of setup on Mars. So like I think this is like a good game where I would build a Yules on Mars.
Right.
Are you have you built Yules on Mars before? And
Yeah,
when? Why do
quite
you do it?
often. Quite often.
What prompts you to do it?
In a one like this, and it's been a toss up. Like I often just do, at least I consciously try to think about it. In this one, I think I got flamed for building Yules before Blink, and I was a little gun shy on it, which is stupid. But I should have went it because you can purge the Veno. Like I do it often when it double sets up when I'm behind for one,
Hmm.
and then also when I want to purge some stuff, so then I can, the slow, the
Hmm.
Slardar, that kind of those two main ones in here really give me a hard time. So
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Even like Lycan, like when he ultimates and he just you just Yules him,
yeah,
and then you spear him into a tree. Like he hates that as a Lycan
yeah,
player personally.
I often go it first in games when we're not doing well.
Yeah. And I think just like another idea is just like a you don't have any like good setup. You don't have any like reliable stun per se. So like in those type
Right.
of games, I also like to get the Yules because like there's
Okay.
so much for you to set up with the Yules on your team. Um, like the Lena strike, the Ringmaster stuff is like easier with the Yules and you just spears and he just drops everything else, all that type of stuff. So I think you understand that. So moving on.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So yeah,
Dire's
you
top
wanna.
tower
I mean, it
is
looked
under
like
attack.
maybe you might pivot to the Yules actually, which is nice.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So yeah. So while you're trying to get to your first item, the reason I said I would have just went to this get the wisdom room from these camps, and then maybe go back out see what's going on here. But now you do have like arena up, so like now you should be up here with your team. Instead, you're walking bottom. So I think like
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I think you understand that you want to get farm to get to your next item, which I think is why you're walking on bottom, right?
I think one of the ones. So my brother is the Spectre, and we've always had this talk about how he ends up staying way down there alone and dying. And I'm like, I'm gonna go down there. You farm behind us for a change instead of getting caught out all the time. So it was a that was part of that discussion I think that we might have had.
Radiant's bottom
Okay,
tower
so
is under
like I
attack.
think
But
that's
I should have stayed with him, is what you're saying?
yeah. So I think it's like a
Okay.
that's like a good discussion is like if he's really getting bullied, then he cannot be Spectre cannot be here in this bottom part of the map. Like that is
Yeah.
agreed. So like I think yeah, you do need to get Spectre these camps and stuff here, which still doesn't feel great, but I think like ultimately for Spectre to really have like the space here. Spectre wants to really be able to come here, farm all this safely, and like he really can't do that if this tier one tower is alive. So like
Okay.
while this tower is alive, you kind of want to do what you can to put pressure on this tower. Um, so like maybe you're gonna be taking. It's either if you're gonna go bottom, you need to go bottom with your team.
Yeah, I
But
got you. I got you.
yeah, but like when you're like supports already here, like at this time, this is like a clear hit this side because like you see these big Beastmaster here, you see Slaughter here, you see Windranger here, you see three heroes on the map. So like if two heroes show up here, it can only be Lycan and Venommaster. And are you guys like that afraid of those two?
No, not terribly.
Dire's top
Especially you
tower
have like
is
almost
under
the arena
attack.
back up soon. So you shouldn't be like too
So
worried.
as a good point to follow up with that, like that is what the spec should want to do is come up into that area you showed, like up in the top corner,
Yeah.
and fall like that's where he's wanted. Because I'm gonna pass that on because that's what often happens is he stays down there because it feels good and he hides and but it would be better if he's in behind us farming up there. We just got to keep going for tier two.
So like exactly if you're farming like around here, this area, like they really can't even get to your Spectre. Like if who's farming back here. So you're kind of like a
Yeah,
protective layer as well because like
because
for
so
example,
that's what happens in so many of these games
mhm,
is whether tier one goes down or not. Um, the support leaves and everybody goes pushes our safe lane together. And so what would be this would be the first one for me is join them or just soldier on and get that down by myself. What would be your take on that? Because it's an often a move that happens.
okay, so you're saying that you're trying to get this tier one top and everyone is in the safe lane bottom instead.
Yeah, not specifically this replay, but let's just say our tier one safe lane is up and they're pressuring it, and our carry's still there. Often people rotate down there to like that's where the fight is, and so they want to go to that fight. And both supports go, mid goes, and I find myself like alone on that tier one quite often. So do you keep going to get it down, or would you go and help the big 4v4 or 5v4 or whatever it might be?
Mhm.
You know, usually it's 4v4.
Yeah. So my take is it really depends on your hero and what level you are. So like if
Yeah,
you're a level 6 Mars and you have your ultimate up, 100% you should
go
TP in.
for it.
You should TP
Yeah,
in.
okay.
Yeah. You go in, you use your ultimate, help win the fight, and then you go twin gate immediately back to your lane, back to farming, back to pressuring the tower. So like no matter even if you leave the where you're supposed to be at your main objective to do something else on the map, you're immediately going the nearest route to get back on that. So you need to always
Yeah, okay.
stay focused. But like
Okay.
100%, like this is like a queue of a you're level 6. Yes, if you're level 5, no, there's no way you go. You don't go if you're level 5 unless it's like maybe like they're getting like wrecked bottom and like you see that they use a lot, they're super low, they're diving and like they just need one TP to like get a kill, like something like very like you're confident you're gonna go in and just get a kill and then go back to your lane. But like otherwise you definitely don't want to go and like depending on what hero you're playing as well. So if you're playing like a Beastmaster, I wouldn't go. Most
Yeah.
of the time, I wouldn't go. I'm just taking the sour. The reason on Mars that you should go is like you want to think about once again: are you a tower hitter? Are you initiator? Like, what's your job? Mars doesn't really
Right.
push towers very fast.
Right.
So
You're better spent doing what you're good at. Got it.
yeah, so like by the time you like kill this tower, like this fight is probably like already long over, and it probably maybe already TPing it back. you know, it's just
Right.
so definitely like you said, do what you're good at. So like here, I think it's just a in the game. What are you thinking here to want to
No,
move all the way across the map? I think you said your Spectre once you want to give Spectre top. That's why you're walking all the way bottom, right?
yeah, I think the idea was somebody should probably defend that tier. We're all the way down to tier twos already, and
Okay.
someone should be there. But I wanted to keep my TP to get back if something breaks out.
Okay. So
Like
like,
somebody, yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. It was
No,
I didn't like it, but yeah,
I understand. I like the idea that your TP at the very high habit to have to walk and keep your TP able to go back. Definitely good. I think the biggest one is the urgency. Sense of urgency in gameplay. So, and that's like the objective, right? Is urgent. What's the urgency here? How important, or how? What's the threat level on this tower right now?
yeah, not super high.
Not super high. I mean, you see Slardar. Like, how fast is Slardar gonna walk down here, kill this tower?
Yeah, it's gonna take a while.
So like, it's not you're not really coming here to protect the tower. You're here to farm. Like that's like that makes sense. It's not really under threat. You're more of
Yeah,
a map for Spectre. You're coming here to farm because it's not under threat. If it's under threat, that's different. If it's under threat, that's when you need to talk to your team. Is this something that we're defending as a team? Type of deal. Because even
yeah,
if it is under threat, you don't want to just show here by yourself.
right.
So like I said, I think like a you
That's
understand that. So that being said, you need to put together like the first tower down is gonna be either the mid tower or the enemy's safe lane tower. So tower done, so there's only one option here. So like this is the objective on the map that you want to be playing around. There's nothing else you really care about in this game right now other than this tower. And what can you do to kill this tower? So everything should be on that. You have vision here. Your focus already should go around vision. And like as soon as Venom's walking up here, this is just an arena. This guy the fire rate is straight. This Venom here you do is you transition hero kill into a numbers advantage to where that builds into pressure onto this lane.
It's so funny how in my head lamented the fact that everybody rotates away from me in the time that they are to fight. I'm out of here. Like I fell for the thing I bitch about the most. That's so funny seeing it now.
Yeah, so sometimes all
I'm
it's
like,
high.
no.
It's
Everyone goes
2020.
away. Yeah, yeah. Everybody shows up. I'm like, what are they all doing here? There's all this farm.
Yeah, and then like meanwhile, like you walking away and like you're just leaving this guy here to die. You're just feeding now. They're all just like dying top lane.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's. I've become my own enemy. Great.
Another guy dying top here again, and like, and like you even have the TP up, but like it's just a
Yeah.
you gotta just focus on your what your hero does best. Like I think is the best way to say is like you need to play around arena. Whenever arena is up, this is what makes your hero strong. And you need to look around the objective you're playing, and this is this one. So like this is like not this is the last place you should be right now. If anything, you can at least be here already, shoving this wave in. So like if you're not pressuring a objective and tower, a Torm, the Wisdom Rune, Roshan, that means you at least want to be pressuring the lane by pushing out the lane. So at least like don't hit jungle creeps. At least have the wave out here
Yeah, yeah,
about to hit this tower. So that way maybe someone has to react here. Then you TP back over here, and then maybe you guys get a kill, make a player happen around top.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I'll take that.
I think that's fine. Get a kill, and now you need to immediately go back to farming. But I will say this game is very already
yeah.
hard. It is
It's already
very
hard, and I think one of those calls at around this time was like And I think I was like, guys, we just can't fight these guys right now. They're so strong. Like,
Yeah.
let's not get in big giant team fights. Like, just run and hide
Yes.
and do what you can. We knew we had to get the Spectre some items eventually. And
Yeah.
so it was like, I think that was part of the decision not even to join. It was just like these guys had fed a ton, and the Drow was being all whiny, and we're just like, okay, guys, hey,
Yeah.
let's not fight. We're not gonna win any fights. Just find farm on the map. Drow, please go hide. But anyways,
Yeah, looking at your team, like your team scales way better. You have a Drow and the Spectre. They have a Beastmaster starter like in course, so like they're gonna be very strong. Like mid game, even if you guys were like even, their team is just very strong, right?
yeah,
Tempo wise. So like the fact that they have 11k net worth lead, like you said, you guys just really can't fight them. So you guys just have to be looking for rinse repeat of what you guys just did. Arena, Spectre ulti, and then like maybe Lena ulti. Like just you guys just pop heroes and like then you get out. Like that's the has to be the game plan. And you guys, like you said, you're just turtling into that point. So like here,
what
go ahead.
it's been super good. My biggest takeaway, and this has been already super helpful, is that identify a little better, more thought into what type of hero I have. And I do have a fighter, and if we're gonna claw our way back into it, it's to leverage the fact that I've got the setup and just be with my team instead of being off trying to make up for the fact that somebody else should be pushing but isn't. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
So
I'm
is
trying to make my hero be something it's not.
and I was just about to touch on that exact thing is you're not wrong to want to be that hero pushing out because sometimes you are. You're a very strong hero to shove out waves because you have God's Rebuke and Spears. You clear waves very fast and you have the Soul Ring to give you the mana to keep doing that. You're also not a easy hero to kill. You're relatively tanky. So you're a good hero to take dangerous farm to take dangerous waves. So it's all
Yeah,
about understanding the window of timing when to do that. So as soon as you guys take that fight and you use arena here, you have
yeah,
100% seconds. That cooldown is your farm window. That is your split window. It's cooldown after second shooting out here to bottom lane, pushing this out. Then you can
yeah. Okay.
farm the camps around it. So what you're doing is you're giving yourself a lot of farm. Number one, you're getting three camps, maybe two waves, that's maybe like I don't know 20 creeps something like that at least. And now I mean Slaughter here wave like you're gonna make someone react here like we talked about. And you keep him in here, so like yeah, like, as soon as this is here, you're farming this way. You can push this out. You're gonna push it, you catch it in, and then by that time your cooldown should be back up, and that's when you're looking to rejoin your team. So like maybe like either depending on how close you are to your item, so like let's say like you have 10 left on cooldown, but you still have like 100. You get your item right. Let's say you already have this item and you're getting close seconds. You are ready to use your team. So that way, by time your team is ready off of cooldown and you're ready to use it immediately. You kind of like play your hero based around your town. This is your farming period. You don't need to be around your team now during your farming period. This is your chance to play away from your team. Cause like you don't want to take a fight right now. This is not the time to fight, right? So like what do you achieve by being on this top half of the map?
Yeah, yeah. It's basically flipped. The decision making has to be flipped. Like right now,
Yeah, like you just have
like
a lot of
earlier when
time.
we were up pushing one, I was away, and now, well, now I'm a kind of away, but it should be a way out on the lane instead,
Yeah, so
not just
like
random neutrals.
yeah, so like just like your last hits is like you need to be farming effectively all game, cause you are a core. Pause one, two, three. I mean, really every hero they all have different timings of how often they need to farm and when they farm. Of course, if your pause one is like you're almost always farming, right? Until you hit your timings. if you're pos 2, it is very similar. You're almost always farming until you hit like a timing. You hit your ultimate, you hit your a certain item timing, same thing. Pos 3, always farming until you have your timing, until you have your arena up, and then you get your Yules, you go for another fight with the Arena Yules, and you go back to farming into your Blink Dagger. And you keep farming, 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 Arena back up, Blink Dagger, you go look for another fight. But like during that downtime, that is like, what can I do to maximize my farm on the minute? And usually, like you already know, is pushing out waves. You want to find the first wave you can go to.
Attack.
Yeah.
Even if it is like camps, at least be hitting camps because there was just so much time you were just walking around, like not hitting anything. Yeah, this is just, I think, just a case of you guys weren't ready to take a fight. Like, if you guys are not, like, getting the jump on them, you guys cannot fight them because you guys are so far behind.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think from here it just snowballs.
It
Like
just
I
knows
think
ball.
that's
That's what I
the
was about to
general
say.
idea.
Hmm.
But it's interesting the decision I think at the start it changes that um, if I stayed and we pushed down that tier one, then maybe it starts to go. Like,
Yeah.
and I understand this game. This it was the early decision when it started to get out of hand. I think now they're a massive lead, and it's we were never coming back. Like not never, but
Hmm. I mean, they would need
it's
to
Guardian.
throw.
It's happened, but they need to throw bad. But
Yeah.
I think we had a chance maybe up at the top when it was 10-2 or whatever the score was, and we set up a good fight early. Then maybe it doesn't get to this point.
Yeah, because, like, what's happening now is, like, because you guys never got this top tower, they're choking you out. Like you guys are
Yeah,
just losing more and more of the map because they're already controlling your triangle. So you guys barely have like this camp
yeah,
here,
nothing.
like a little bit here. Spectre's like farming down here, and like honestly, like Spectre Drought are too scared to even come here. So I think like
Yeah,
this is like the only last thing I want to talk about here is like once again, as soon as like you use your ultimate here, you're the person I think this game that takes like this dangerous farm. So you have to be able to identify like who takes this farm here because your Spectres I think is just so scared. Like Spectre has not been taking like any lane farm barely this game.
yeah, and then TP back when they start poking high ground.
Exactly.
Essentially, with yeah, okay,
Yeah.
like just get out there. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think that's the last thing on there. Um.
I love it. You're so right though. At the start when it was like couple of Dota nerds here. We could talk for 2 hours over one replay.
Yeah. It is very
We
easy.
can't help ourselves, can we? It's so funny.
No.
You're doing this is awesome, by the way. Good, really, really helpful.
No problem. I do appreciate all the feedback and let me see here. So I think we covered a good bit there. Um, it is kind of late here. How often or like how interested are you doing in repeat sessions?
I'm all over it. Yeah,
I wouldn't mind doing like a live game for you one day.
yeah. That'd
Uh,
be so. That would be. That is actually kind of. I think the decision making is what we touch on today, and that's why the replay is good. I think the live game, and I've seen others where they coach live other players. I've watched videos of that,
mhm.
and I think I've picked up on what you said. This sense of urgency is I know what I'm lacking. I've played so much turbos that I know I got a whole lot of bad habits to get. And there, it's not urgent because the money just comes regardless. Like just fight, 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 fight. And
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's a
I
different
think
game.
the in and out sort of ranked is what I gotta adapt to a little bit. And one of them is the like you said, like it's like hit the wave, run to the camp, get in the fight, go back to the farming. And I think I'm just slow to make that like it's not urgent. And
Yeah,
I think that's having someone yell in my ear like, "Go! What are you doing? Go get that last aid. Get back to the lane. Go here. Do this." I think the sense of a high level player, it would feel really fast, and I think experiencing that would be helpful.
Yeah, definitely. I think like what we talked about, as far as like in your laning phase, I'm not gonna go over like if we want to in the future. I don't. I have what I call the red module, the green module, and the blue module. So like the red module is your strength and fundamentals. So like there's three parts in that. Part one is the iron wall, which is creep aggro mastery. So everyone kind of knows what creep aggro is and kind of how to use it. But like in that specific drill, we'll go over like mastering creep aggro, when to do it based on your matchup, how to just pull exactly the creeps you want, and like exactly which scenarios you want to do it and why, and also, um, what you call it. The part two is gonna be like the trading war. So I think you're really, like you said, you're very good as like you're solid on the lane mechanics, but like like you said, everyone can always get better. So if you want to do like a
Yeah.
little module over that, so you do the training triangle, whereas yourself you kind of make triangle where you can hit them, but they can't double team you. So like always have the position in the lane, whether you want effective HP or raw HP. Armor or regen, like we talked about in the lane here. Like you just want to go pure stats. A lot of times is gonna be better for you trading, especially versus like a Lycan. He just all he really does is right click you, so you just want to be able to have the movement speed, the phase boots, the bracers, all of that type of stuff, and then like the always having enough regen. Which I think in that lane, like my biggest criticism would be that you weren't abusing the fact that you had the soul ring. You weren't like right clicking enough. Like you want to be right clicking, trading a lot to where I think you're buying more regen. I think like that lane, you didn't really like use your regen much. Like you were just kind of like getting untouched. I don't know if you agreed in that lane,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then like
Yeah,
the
it felt like an easy one, and you're right. I didn't take enough out of it when I watched it. A bit when just before this, I was like, man, I missed a lot and didn't harass enough for how easy it actually was.
yeah, so like stuff like that. So I think
To,
like what was I talking about? Yeah, so like the I think we touched on basically everything. Like the goal was to understand a little bit more on like the mid game objectives, right? So I think this game we didn't really get. I feel like the game kind of got closed out in the early games that made the mid game really weird. So
yeah,
we didn't get to really like talk about like Roshan. I think like that's one of like the big objectives you want to talk about is like Roshan, Tormentor. What do you do after like the tier one start dying in your head? I think that's more stuff to think about. So this is like more of a behind scenario. But I think that's good for today. I think we did talk about some of the different options you can do in the game. So we talked about different item builds, different options as far as where you're farming on the map and how to play. And the very last thing I want to talk about is the W, the will. So,
yeah,
in
yeah.
in the next three ranked games, what is the one thing that you're going to focus on, even if you lose? Like, if I'm watching over your shoulders, what would I see differently?
Uh, One thing. Let's see. Well, here I'll give you two, and you can tell me which one you think is a bigger, like, like more important. I would say like my lane, like at the very base, like you said, extracting more from the lane, like reading it properly and getting the most out of it, regardless of win or lose, like whatever like what am I trying to say? The matchup,
Hmm.
good or bad. Like I got to get the most, even if it's a bad one. How can I get the most out of it, or how can I get the most when I have an advantage?
Hmm.
Or alternatively, fighting more around the timings of my alt, like my hero being
Yeah.
more like my movements should be predicated more on what is available to me at that moment
Yeah.
and doing a little more aggressive. Alts up, I'm looking to fight. Alts
Yeah.
down, I'm more aggressively running to farm. So one of those two, which would you say should be my like? Because I think that's what we took out of that
I
replay. Would you
Yeah,
agree?
I agree. I think what I would want to see, which I believe will give you the most MMR if you do it consistently, is playing based on your hero of your strengths of your ultimate. Like like we talked about, when your ultimate is up, or even getting close to up. I want you to like be very conscious of your cooldown of your ultimate, especially on the heroes like Tide, Mars, Earthshaker, these type of heroes where their ultimate can have a lot of impact. Sand King, right? To where like even before, like I want you to think about, are you ready to fight when it's up and why? Like, do you need to fight? Do you need to make something happen, or is your team farming? Because will be games, well, where your team is doing fine, they're just waiting on their to hit their timings. Maybe your timing is a little bit different from theirs, so maybe you don't want to like force aggressive things too early. So that's the type of thing you just want to think about. Um, but that being said, you do want to just play around your ultimate. Like that's general rule of thumb. If your ultimate is up, you look for the green light, and then
Yeah. Okay.
if the green light is
And
there,
in
you're
that
looking for that
case,
objective.
it's yeah, it's to then like I've always been like focus on getting that tower down, push the tower. That's the offlaner's job. Get that tower down. But you're saying in certain cases, go bottom if there's a fight breaking out there. Whatever. I've got my ultimate. Use it. Then go back to that job. Is that a
Exactly.
synopsis? Okay. Okay.
Exactly. So, and like after you get that tower down, that can be something that we talk about. Maybe in another lesson is like, once you have that tower down, what do you do next? A lot of the times,
Right.
it can just be to bunker down in that area, control that jungle, farm it out, and then kind of look to like swap to another lane with your ultimates. So like always. Bottom line is your ultimate is a cue to take an objective, and the way that you get those objectives is that's when you look for the kills. So like you're not looking for kills just for gold. You're looking for kills to make it
Right.
follow up into the nearest tower, into the nearest Roshan, to the nearest objectives that you guys can take.
Yeah.
hmm And,
Yeah.
and when you're
Keep going.
behind, yeah, and when you're behind, that's when those objectives can be smaller. Sometimes that kill is just for map control. It's just to get that area of the jungle back, just to farm it. Sometimes that is the objective that you're winning. I would say like in this
All right,
last
my man.
game, yeah, that's a good
This
example.
is okay. This is like the funny one is always like getting people to do it, and that'll be like layer number two. Is I think I didn't understand that and know it, and it's like okay, but no one stays top and takes over, and I've got to just when to abandon what I think might be the objective and more. I don't play around the team properly. I think is kind of what I'm
hmm
seems like it's becoming a trend. Like they're all off doing something, but I'm like, no, I need to stay top lane and let's pressure. Just what you said. Like you said, dude, that's the thing to do is knock it down. And often you want to stay up there. And then I'm like, but it's just me alone and everybody's fighting bottom.
hmm Yeah. So I mean, like it really just like you said, it really just depends on what's going on. Because sometimes if that they need you in that fight, then you need to be there. If you're gonna
You
be
got it.
that
Yeah. Okay.
decisive
That's
factor.
yeah. That's super good to hear.
Okay.
I'm too stubborn.
Well, no problem. Is
Uh,
you have any other
what do
like
I call you,
last
by the way? Is it
tribal?
you want tribal? Okay.
Yep.
I was gonna just try for short.
Yeah, try is fine. That's not a problem.
Where are you at, Try?
Texas. How about yourself?
In Texas? I'm up in Canada. Basically Texas North they call it here in Alberta.
Really? I didn't know about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's all oil and gas up here. So we're often Texas North.
No shit. No,
A lot of
I
people.
actually never knew
Yeah.
that. That's pretty interesting. Just for the rest of the year, so definitely try to get as many in as you can, as you want.
Y- Yeah, will do. That's fantastic.
All right, man. Well, you have a good rest of your night, Dave. It was good talking to you, and I hope
You
you had
bet.
a good Thanksgiving.
You bet. Take care.
Peace.